Joining us now to offer her perspective, former South Carolina governor, UN ambassador, and 2024 primary candidate herself on the Republican side, Ambassador Nikki Haley. Ambassador, great to see you. I know how busy you are. Thanks for the time. But I wanted your reaction to the week that was and the theme that we see.
You know, it's complete weakness from America, and we're seeing that play out. We're seeing it play out in our economy when we've got this inflation, and now we've got these bailouts happening. We've seen it happen in terms of our foreign policy, whether it's Russia, whether it's China, whether it's Iran. We're seeing it happen all across our country. I mean, we've got a president that's asleep at the wheel, and then to have, you know, congressional Democrats not even acknowledge what's happening in the border. You know, yes, we need to ask them a question, but we need to ask the chief Democrat. President Biden needs to answer for the fact that the chief of Border Patrol said that we don't have control of our borders. That's a dereliction of duty, and someone needs to demand that Biden answer that.
My sense is the reason why the Democrats at the last minute decide not to come, they got word that he was not going to deny that the border is broken and the wall needs to stand. Let's just take a look at some of the numbers, and you don't even need an opinion. Just look at the facts. The number of apprehensions, the number of terrorist watch encounters from 15 and 21 to 182 total, 69 last year, and we're off to a staggeringly high start this year. And it talks about overall apprehensions and gotaways, 385,000 gotaways, 900,000 apprehensions, 147 countries, now including China, and you factor in all the terror watch lists. So the border broken needs to be addressed. But people look at the midterms, Governor, and they say the Republicans didn't make the Democrats pay a price for that. What's the difference now? What's your answer?
We talk about how we fix it. We fix it by going back to remain in Mexico. We fix it by stopping catch and release. We fix it by putting up an actual wall and closing our border. But we do it by doing what I did in South Carolina as governor. We did a mandatory E-Verify program that said none of our businesses could hire anyone that was in this country illegally. That's what got them out of South Carolina, because there was no jobs for them to come to. That's what will get them out of this country. We've got to make sure our businesses do not hire anyone that's here in this country illegally. And we've got to start really taking this seriously. Every state now is a border state.
Governor, you're the first in, and we have Vivek Ramaswamy is also in. It looks like Tim Scott is poised to get in. Donald Trump's been in for months, so I guess technically you're second. So when we look at the polls right now, it looks like President Trump is on top, widening his lead over to Governor DeSantis, who we think will be in May. You're third with 5% of the vote. Your thoughts about where you are right now?
You can go back in history. The polls that we see right now, it's a fact. The poll that you see right now is not going to be the poll you see from a year from now. So it was just a month since we've announced. We have already started gaining ground. We had 1,000 people in Myrtle Beach this week. We had over 700 people in Palm Beach, Florida this week. We had hundreds of people in New Hampshire and Iowa. We're getting our word out. We're talking about solutions. We're telling them I was a two-term governor that took a double-digit unemployment state and made it an economic powerhouse. And I was a UN ambassador that took the kick me sign off of our back. We're ready to get to work.
And if you look at, we just thought this would be an interesting stat for you to look at. I don't know if you've seen this, but at a similar time with Hillary Clinton against Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton led 45 to 27%. Real quick, the real difference between you and Governor DeSantis and Donald Trump right now is the stance on the need to back the Ukrainians against the Russians. Where do you stand, and what are your thoughts about Governor DeSantis saying it's a territorial dispute?
DeSantis is completely wrong on this. This is not the time to get weak in the knees on Russia, which is what he's doing. This is the time to understand that the reason that Russia is trying to get our drones is because we've had weakness. The reason is because they hear this conversation. It's that same mentality that got us into the situation that we're in with China. We need to be forceful. Biden should have already, when that drone went down, Biden should have put 2 drones up there. We need to get our naval fleet back in the Black Sea. It never should have come out in the first place. And you put up a fighter jet if you have to. You send a message to them that there are consequences to pay and that we're not going to put up with it. The last thing you do is retreat and show them that we're not going to defend freedom. Because if we don't win this war in Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. Putin has said that, and we are trying to prevent a world war. It's hugely important. DeSantis is showing weakness in this way. Trump was wrong in this way. You go and you make sure that you tell the entire world that when we win in Ukraine, this will send a message to China. It'll send a message to Iran. It'll send a message to North Korea. And that's how the U.S. leads.
It seems to be the same confronting nations as China. China's leader visited Vladimir Putin today. So if you want to stop China, you stop Russia. Ambassador, thanks so much. Great to see you. I know you want to get back to the trail. Thanks for the time.
Thanks. Go to NikkiHaley.com.
All right. We can see you right behind you. Good job. Coming up a little bit later.